Hello, this is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com, and today we're going to be looking at 3 different protective lenses from Heatwave Visual. So if you ever searched up any form of sunglasses before, Heatwave Visual is definitely a company that has come up. They have very good marketing when it comes to Instagram, specifically when it comes to any type of advertising there. So for a long time, a very long time, I've been seeing their ads pop up on my feed and kind of advertise different lenses that they have. Although I did really like the style that they offered, I didn't really see a company from them that was offering protective lenses. For me personally, if I'm ever going to buy sunglasses, I want them to have some form of level of protection. So it could be not just as an everyday use pair of sunglasses, but something that I could also take to the range that would also protect me from any shrapnel or anything that might come back into my face. So not so long ago, I actually saw an ad that they were now starting to advertise that they had Z85 protection protective lenses, which is an amazing thing because that means it's following at the minimum OSHA standard for eye protection. So once I saw that, then it was actually something that was appealing to me to be able to look into and see what I could get from them. So I reached out to them. I said, I'd like to be able to take a look at some of the stuff that you have. What are the ones that you recommend? So one of the newest ones that they came out is their new line called the Future Tech line. So they have many different lenses on their website. So what I want to emphasize before we get into this is that anything I say about the design of these glasses is going to be specifically to this design. They have many different designs on their website. So anything I'm going to be saying is specifically about these ones. I'm not saying that the other ones are going to be the same or different. It's just going to be about the ones that I actually have experience with. So when I reached out to them, they actually sent me 3 different pairs, which was really nice of them. And they're actually 3 very different purpose of use pairs that are all from the same frame style. So the frame style is going to be the same. The lens durability is going to be the same, but it's going to be different types of lenses. So I'll explain that a little bit. So let's dive right into it. I'll show you the 3 different offerings, and then I'll give you kind of the pros and cons of each and why you should take one of these into consideration. I'll also give you an idea of which one was my favorite and why it was my favorite and which one might be right for you. So starting with probably what's going to be the most popular, this is their sunglasses lens. So now something that I saw advertised on their website, which is actually very interesting, is that these lenses are actually going to be darker than the average pair of sunglasses you're going to be able to get. So I think, I could be wrong, I'll double check this information. I think the average pair of sunglasses reduces the lighting to around 17%, while this company, Heatwave, is able to bring it down to 7%. So this is going to be much darker than your average pair of sunglasses. Now, if you're someone who's living in California, like in the desert or any very bright open area, even during the winter time where snow is going to help reflect the light a little bit more, having darker sunglasses might actually be valuable to you. It might not be something that everyone wants, but it's definitely something that has a place in regards to what your purpose of use is. So if I put these on, you can see that it does have a very large amount of coverage. It goes all the way around my face and really goes lower than the average pair of sunglasses would for protection of my eye. And also again, those goes much higher in regards to where it's coverage. If I look off to the side, I'll show you guys a close-up. There's a plastic piece that covers off the right side and left side of the pair. So you're actually able to see that it covers really all the way around. Now, something that's important is for a lot of people who go to the range, if you're going to wear kind of like the Ray-Ban, the most popular Ray-Ban style, something that's open off to the right and left side, that's kind of scary for me because at the range, there could be a lot of area where things could just be able to go right into your eye. So having protection all the way to the side of your eye, I think is very important, and that's something that these do offer. Now, just to clarify again, they are Z87. I think this one's actually the Z87 Plus, so which means that there's a basic ball bearing test that they do where they take a ball bearing and they drop it onto the lens to see if it's able to make any damage onto the lens itself, and these obviously passed with no issue, so that's why they actually get this qualification. So this is going to be really the first pair in regards to sunglasses, and now we're going to kind of veer off into what other people might not have thought about when it comes to wearing other types of glasses at the range or for general purpose of use. The next pair of glasses that I have here are actually kind of like a yellow tinted lens, which for some people look very odd and might not understand the reason for why it's actually very valuable. So going into practical use before going into more of like the range use and other purpose of use that you might have, having a yellow lens actually helps very much when it comes to driving at night. If you're going to be someone who drives at night, this actually enhances the color around you, so it's much easier to see, especially the white dotted lines or things that you might have around on the streets in general. This is something that I've used in very dark light. In regards to really being able to enhance lights around you, the yellow tint really brings that up, which is very valuable again for driving at night. The other thing which is important is that during the day, it still enhances color while still blocks out like the UV rays. So for general general use, again, during the time that I was using this for driving, it was actually very nice to be able to wear because it really enhances color. This is also something that if you're going to be driving in a rainstorm or a thunderstorm of any type, then usually if you were to put on the brights of your car, it really starts bringing up all the other things that you don't want to see, and it makes it difficult to see. While when you have this on, it still enhances everything bright enough that you're able to see properly without risking being able to get into an accident. So although it sounds kind of odd, if you haven't tried yellow lenses before, it's actually something that I've really come to enjoy. And so far, of the three that you're going to see today, this has been my favorite to be able to use because again, it enhances color without really damaging your eyes from really bright sunlight, and it works really well. As well as also, if you saw my video that I posted recently, I was talking about different lenses that you might be able to use for an active shooter bag. So this is the one that really I decided to put into the bag because the idea would be is that if you're going to be running into a building, you don't want to have very dark sunglasses because that could really block what you're going to see and it will damage your sight picture. Versus this, if you're going to be outside, it's not going to be perfect, meaning it's not a pair of sunglasses, but it definitely reduces the amount of glare and annoyance and burning of your eyes from the sun. But if you were to go into a building, you still have all the regular things that you'd be able to see, and it enhances regular color, so it really does work well. So if you're looking kind of like as a general purpose of use pair of sunglasses or just glasses in general, I think this is a really cool pair that a lot of people might be worried about trying that works really well. Now, before I get into the pros and cons of these three lenses specifically, again, these style specifically, I'll show you the last one, which is a fully clear lens. Now, for a lot of people, they might not know why you'd want a lens like this, but the main thing is going to be for indoor use. So if you're going to be going through a shoot house, if you're going to be using training classes in an indoor range, or anytime you're going to be solely indoors, having this is still important for just general use protection while not giving you any filters or any blockage of things that you might want to be able to see. So again, if you're working on a job site, if you're working in construction indoors, you want protection to be able to protect your eyes from anything that might fly into them, but you're not going to want something that's going to shade it and make it darker to be able to see. So having a clear pair of lenses is very good for a general range bag or anytime you're going to be going to the range. So at the minimum, I'll usually carry at least two pairs of sunglasses, either this one or the yellow one, meaning the yellow one that if I want brighter enhancement of color, or this one if I just want clear, and a shaded one for is going to be very bright sunlight. So having at least those two options available to you for not wanting to have any tint and also being able to still have protection, this is going to be an option that's very good to look at. And again, these still have the protection all the way around the eyes, and it really gives you a lot of coverage all the way around your face, a lot more than regular pairs of sunglasses that you might be able to get. So this is going to be the clear lenses. Now again, before I kind of wrap up this video, I want to give you guys the pros and cons in regards to my experience using these lenses. So something I'm going to try to do a close-up for you guys of is when I'm wearing these sunglasses, they do have, again, very good coverage all the way around your eye. Now, on the top of the pair, if I were to put my fingers in, it's really snug fit against my face, which is perfect. That's what I want to be able to have, where it's really no opening right over there. The problem comes about is at the bottom. If you could see, I'm wearing the clear lenses now, you can see that I'm able to put my fingers in there both directions. I'll be able to fit my middle finger. I can fit the width of my thumb. There's a lot of space at the bottom of the lenses, which makes me a little bit worried, primarily because if I'm going to be at the range, I could be wearing a pair, like a cap, right? So the cap is going to be able to block the top, but it won't be able to block the bottom. So even if they were going to be tilted inward just a little bit, where there would be a spacing on the top, for me personally, it's not that big of a deal because the cap is going to block anything that'll be, any debris that might come in from the top. But for the bottom, my concern is going to be about the amount of space that's there. Now, it might not be that big of a deal for you, but that might be something worth taking into consideration. If you're working with like a saw where you're going to be looking down, if you were to look up and then dust or whatever could go up into your eye, this gives you a lot of space that just worries me a little bit. Now again, that might not be a concern for you specifically, but I just wanted to mention that there is that space that would be there. So if they were to just tilt in ever so slightly, I feel like that would really significantly reduce that amount. And again, for most people who might be wearing caps or safety hats of some kind, then that open area is going to be blocked anyway. So I'm okay with the space more on top than what that space is on bottom. Now, the other thing to take into account, again, this is going to be just about this pair of these lenses. These lenses were not designed specifically for gun guys. Now, it's just like a really good pair of safety lenses that I wanted to implement. Now, for the most part, you're not going to have this issue, but for me, something that I take into consideration is that this upper bar that's over here, that the framing on the top of the lens, it's something that people might not take into consideration, where if I'm wearing my sunglasses like this and I dip my head, the upper frame is going to be something that could potentially come into your sight picture. Now, again, it might not be for everyone, but for something that I've noticed is that you just have to be careful with regards to how you shoulder your rifle, because that amount might just be able to get just in frame. So again, you might see from other brands that they might make that the top part is going to be open. So that opening is going to be that you're going to be using the upper part of your lens anyway, so you get a better view of your optic. So again, that might not be a consideration for everyone. It just might be something to take into account. Now, for most people, you're going to have glasses that have an upper frame, and it might not be something you've ever noticed. So it really just depends on your specific shouldering of the rifle and how that affects you. But it might be something worth pointing out in regards to it does have an upper frame. So if that's something you're concerned about, then just be aware of that. So again, the only two concerns I've had with these glasses is going to be the spacing on the bottom, because it is somewhat noticeable. Even for the shaded glasses that I'm wearing, when I'm wearing this, you can see it's obviously very, very dark over here, but I see like a lot of clear open area around here just because of that amount of space. So I would have preferred it to be a little bit curved in. And then the second thing would be if, again, which it's not, but if it was designed as a specific pair of like tactical sunglasses of any kind, I'd prefer there to be a more open option for the top, so I could be able to dip my head and not be worried about seeing over the frame and just being able to block my sight picture. Again, I'm going to clarify over and over again, this is not designed as a firearms use frame, because if it was, it might have been designed where they wouldn't have that option. But since it is, it's more of just a general safety use frame. So all in all, these are just one of the styles that they offer on the website. I would love to be able to check out more that they have, because they do have a lot of really great options. But if you're looking for a pair of solid safety glasses that do offer the majority of what you're going to be able to need, these three pairs really do offer a lot of really great options when it comes to proper coverage around your face. Again, just take into account the lower area that might be inside the open, depending on what you're trying to do, as well as the upper area if you're going to be shouldering a rifle. Other than that, I think these are really great pairs that might be worth being able to look into. Do your own due diligence in research to make sure that it's proper for what you're trying to get. And again, it is OSHA certified, so if you're going to be working on a construction site, it is something that is approved. So if you have any questions on this, if you have any questions I should send out to the company, if you want to see a follow-up on this, and you have something you'd like to be able to point out, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you on that. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.